And once again, we are here. It is me. It is Erik Nagel, 866-969-1969. It's also the name of the program, cleverly titled. And joining me once again, Matt from Big Kev's Geek Stuff. OG Geek Stuff OG. I never remember your Twitter handle.
Just Geek Stuff OG on Twitter is how you can go with that.
And also joining us today, it's a big show.
It is a big show.
A lot of Simpsons shit to cram down your gullet today.
Okay, fair enough.
And then we won't talk about it ever again.
All right.
Or at least until season 26 starts.
There you go, fair enough.
Which is a month and a half away, about.
You're the Simpsons guy, I'm not.
Yeah, it's the big 1 hour premiere with Family Guy and The Simpsons, the crossover.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Joining us also, the Masters of None. Who are they? I don't know, but I'll tell you right now. How would I know? I know. It's a podcast. I'm trying to get their slogan right. It's a comedy podcast that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Why
don't I?
Your mic's not on.
There you are.
Okay, there you go. Hi.
Hi. Jay and Mike from Masters of None. Mastersofnone.com?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Masters of None.
Jay and I have a long history of knowing each other. We used to work at some stations on Long Island.
Okay.
WLIR, Party 105.
Mm-hmm.
Jay had a show called One Step Beyond, which was ska, punk, indie rock, all those things. And I used to work for him on that show. And
now
I'm
on your show.
I know. How does that work?
My goddamn mind.
Full circle.
It really is.
And Mike, do we want to explain what you used to do here?
Yeah,
or no?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I used to intern here, so this is all like, this is all incestual. So you used to work for him, I used to work for Eric, and now I work for myself, which is great.
And I'm
And
just
work
the
for
other guy.
Jay, too.
Yeah. And now, yeah, kind of, yeah.
It all just comes full circle.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let me make sure I got the plugs because there's a lot to do today. Mastersofnone.com. What's the Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff?
At Masters of None, Masters of None,
And
mastersofnone.com.
You can find their podcast on iTunes. Are you on Spotify? You're on all the regular places?
Yes.
Wherever.
Also,
podcasts are sold.
Yeah, also got a plug, simplysyndicated.com, as well as morelikeradio.com.
Yeah, we're on both of those networks,
Both
too.
of those networks. Got to plug them.
And plug my beer stores, too, because I got tasty beer for everybody.
That's right, you do. This is one of the reasons I invited them on.
Yeah,
Not
this is the
because I
only
was friends
reason.
with these guys, but they're really into craft beer.
Yeah.
And they're always, they do a lot of episodes where you're going around to different breweries around the area and broadcasting from there, recording from there, trying all the stuff that they have. They're ordering a bunch of flights, and then that's pretty much the show until Art gets really hammered. And then they're like, all right, we're going to have to end this show.
Yeah, we've been sponsored by Blue Point in Long Island for like 7 years now, going on, since as long as we've been doing our show. But now I'm in the business. I run like 3 beer stores called Beer World. I'm the marketing director, and 3 stores in the Hudson Valley here. And I brought some tasty-ass, very hard-to-get, rare beers for everybody to try today. And
Everybody to taste.
Can we try one right now as we're getting into all the Simpsons
funny
stuff
you should
here?
ask, Eric, because you know what I
He was kind
realized,
enough
too?
to pour us one.
Ooh.
I actually had a Duff beer, and I forgot to bring it. An actual Duff beer.
That would have been great.
They made it a few times. They made one in Mexico. They made one in like Austria or something. They just totally bootleg.
Well, it's all right. In New York, we don't serve Duff. We serve Fudd.
Right. But it was garbage anyway. But it's cool. It's a cool bottle. It looks just like it. So what you have in your cup right there is Mexican Cake from Westbrook Brewing Company out of South Carolina. This is their anniversary beer they do every year. Super duper hard to get. It's an imperial stout. It's about 10% alcohol. And it's got vanilla beans, cinnamon,
10%.
and habanero peppers.
Oh, I got that
I'm
spicy
now
something.
tasting the habanero.
It's very light at the end, and
Yeah, at the
they
end.
actually want you to taste it fresh.
It's so weird because when you're drinking it at first, it tastes like cold coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then as it's going through, it's changing as you're tasting it, and then you swallow it, and then kicks in the habanero.
Yeah, there's a little kick of heat, right at the back there.
Yeah, it's
right on the
nice.
end.
I like
This
it.
is not
It's
bad.
awesome.
What does this go for?
This a bottle? Well, depends on how much the store you're buying it from wants to gouge you.
Average.
Average, maybe $15, $20, but it's They put it out like once a year, and we get like I have 3 huge stores. Our Kingston store is like 15,000 square feet, and we got like 6 bottles. So that's how hard to get it is.
That's amazing.
And that's it. You won't see it again until next year.
Rarities.
But yeah, it's pretty damn tasty.
So we'll be trying different craft beers throughout the show
Yeah,
here.
I got 3 more good ones,
A little bit later in the program, we're going to talk to Bill Oakley, one of the writers from The Simpsons. He was there during the Golden Age, seasons 3 through 9. And we'll also talk to the guys from NECA Toys, who also handled the Simpsons toy line. And there's a third wave coming that's really exciting. There's a couple of figures in there I'm really excited about. There's one set of figures I'm questioning as to why, but we'll get into that with the guys at NECA in a little bit. But if you've seen the first two waves, they've been amazing. Hugh Hefner, Tom Hanks is in the line, which is a weird choice, but I was really happy to see that.
Sure.
Kid Rock is in there, Britney Spears, Coach Homer, a bunch of different
Mark
variants.
Hamill, isn't he?
Mark Hamill's in one of them.
Right, yeah.
Right. There's a lot of great stuff. NECA Toys. It's NECAonline.com to check that out. So we'll get to them in a little bit. FXX is doing the Simpsons Marathon. I have been addicted since Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Right.
It started. I had it on in the office, and even though the Opie with Jim Norton show was live, I was still already logging in trying to see what would, when this was starting and what they were doing.
Can I just say, I am most impressed, actually, that you are here tonight because the Simpsons Marathon is going on. And on top of that, I believe Doctor Who started 5 minutes ago, and you're missing both to be here.
I did not want to bring that up, but thank you. Or thank you, however you want to pronounce it. Yes, I've been promoting for a while that season 8 of Doctor Who starts tonight.
Yes.
Actually, at
8:15.
No, 8:15 p.m.
Oh, that's right. The pre-show is right.
So at 8:15 p.m. Throughout the United States, I guess it airs on BBC America. I couldn't get interviews. I was supposed to have interviews with Peter Capaldi,
right.
Jenna Coleman, and Stephen Moffat. But at the last minute, BBC changed their mind, and it didn't happen. So
Same
I
thing
got
with us with our podcast. I couldn't believe it. They canceled like that.
I know. What the hell?
Bastard jerks.
BBC is just making enemies everywhere.
We didn't even bother with them because we knew it's like, whatever.
It's old hat, 50-year-old show. Who cares? So that didn't happen, and which was quite upsetting. But it is what it is. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, we'll get to talk to Peter Capaldi.
There you go.
Or Stephen Moffat. Either one would be great.
Sure.
So that's going on, but I had to separate myself for that because now it's Simpsons time.
Okay.
So I'm still wearing my Doctor Who shirt. And
you haven't changed it in 3 days?
I did since last Saturday, the last show we had, I did 8 days of Doctor Who. Since I have like 16 Doctor Who shirts, I wore a different shirt every day. Nobody noticed. But I tweeted about it. Nobody noticed or gave a shit about it. So I'm wearing my last Doctor Who shirt for today. And it's all about Simpsons here. Also I want to thank DJ Who Kid, who's become quite the regular on Sam's show and Opie with Jim Norton. Got me some Simpsons bling.
That's
which I'll tweet a photo out in a little bit.
Are really fantastic, I have to say.
I have a platinum and diamond Homer Simpson and a platinum and diamond Bart Simpson on a skateboard.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Are they diamond or are they Dopemond? Hey-o.
Starting the puns. But they're from a company called King Ice. Okay. So I want to thank them.
Don't try to put those on, please.
They're very heavy.
I can't stare at you and take you seriously for the next hour if you're going to wear those.
You might get held up in an alley by a gun that just has a flag that says
I'm not going to
bang.
wear them out of the building. I'm not even going to wear them near Shade 45.
You will make it out of the building.
These are heavy.
Homer's backwards.
Yeah.
He was doing something incestuous.
He's doing his
Bart.
crisscross impression.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a bit.
That's
heavy.
incredible.
I'm not wearing that for the rest of the show. But thank you very much, DJ Who Kid, and the people over at King Ice. So we were talking about the marathon. Have you been watching it at all, or not interested, or?
It's not that I'm not. I said this earlier. We were having a conversation earlier with the guys from Masters of None. Simpsons was a show that I was really, really into. When it first came out, and somewhere along the lines, I lost interest in it for no particular reason. Like I missed it 1 week, and then I missed it like 2 weeks, and then I just never got back into it. And I know it's great. People keep telling me how great it is. I just never got back into it.
Now, was it kind of the same spot that kind of everybody did the same thing, like this season 12? Because I
think it was before that, to be quite honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah.
Wow. Because that's kind of like the consensus, right?
Right, going into the teen edition of the show is kind of when people started straying. Maybe it was a generational thing because the next generation picked up from that point.
Yeah, and we all had jobs and stuff.
Right, but you couldn't go into homeroom the next day and it's like, did you see all those baseball players playing softball on The Simpsons? After season 12, it seems where a lot of people kind of punched out, except for me. I just watched every Sunday out of habit, and all the people usually just quote seasons 2 through 12. Anytime somebody brings up a quote that's relevant to something, it's always from that handful of seasons there.
Yeah, which is what's going on right now on the marathon is like right in that wheelhouse. I think they're on season 6, and every episode. I mean, 2 TVs in my house have been going on with them on constantly since I've been home.
I actually blacked out Friday night. I went as far as I could, and you can see I was tweeting while I was watching, and then about 3 a.m. it just stops. And at one point I woke up and it was like 5 something. The TV was still on, so I turned the TV off. But the second I got back up later, it was back on. And then I found out you can stream it on your phone.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask about that. So it's on FX now, right? FX Now.
Right.
So is everything there, or is it
It's the marathon?
releasing it as it goes?
Right. It's the marathon right now, and after this is done, they're going to regularly carry the episodes on FXX.
Yeah.
Plus, every episode will be available to you on the FX Now.
That's awesome.
Which is their streaming service.
Because I was going to cancel my cable. I'm totally cutting the cord. But I told my wife, I was like, I'm really waiting until the Simpsons marathon is over, and then I'm canceling cable. It's been like 3 months I've been talking about this, and
I'll be curious to see if you need the cable subscription in order to get the online service, like HBO Go.
I already stole my
if you're
parents'
not
account.
paying for this, if you're not paying for the service, you can't really use HBO Go. I don't think.
Yeah.
Because it needs your cable provider
you need
information.
the email and password.
Where is FXX streaming the episodes? They're streaming it through Comcast, or are they streaming it through
like
their own
HBO
site?
Go.
Like through HBO Go.
HBO Go.
The FX Now is their online service.
Right.
You can get everything through there.
Okay.
Same shit.
But I've been excited about it. And when certain episodes come on, I go, oh my God, that's the episode where this was going on. You showed up when I was watching The Shining.
And my son walked in the room, never seen an episode of Simpsons before. My 3-year-old son walked in, eyes fixated on the TV. I couldn't get him to leave that spot. So now I think you've turned my son, you bastard.
Well, that's good, because what was the show you were telling me he was watching? Galaxy what?
Oh, no, he watches Gravity Falls, which is another great show. But he's also addicted to American Ninja Warrior now. He's been climbing all over my house and building obstacle courses.
My neighbor was on that show.
Was it really?
He was on a show, and he destroyed the course. He made it look simple. It was like one of the first episodes this season.
It's funny. Me and my wife were watching it last night, again with my son, and we saw some guy that just went through it so easily. And we were like, this is actually kind of not fun when it's that easy for them to do. You want to see a little bit of struggle. You want to see someone almost, face plant on a ball or in the water or something. But, 3-year-old, addicted to it.
Of course, and that chick that just, blew up from it.
Yeah.
Lacey or
She's
something?
from New Jersey, isn't she?
Is she?
I think so. I thought I read she was from New Jersey.
We tried to get her on her show, but of course she just,
blew you off.
Yeah, she's
too important now.
She's too important now.
She's training.
866-969-1969 is the number if you want to call. We're talking Simpsons. We'll be talking toys. We're talking craft beers as well. But Cody in Alabama actually wants to talk about Doctor Who. Cody, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? You out?
What can we do for you?
I was just curious how you felt about Peter Capaldi being the new Doctor and all.
Well, I'm happy about it. I wasn't really sure about it being an old Doctor when they had a whole successful series relaunch with younger Doctors. But we went into a lot more of it. If you have the on-demand, if you get last week's show, we went into Doctor Who in a lot more depth than I'm going to right now. Yeah. But I think Peter Capaldi could be really good, considering they're moving the whole storyline away from being cutesy and saving the universe. Now he's trying to save himself.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
All right.
All right, you have a good one.
You too, sir. Thank you very much. 866-969-1969.
Eric.
Yes.
Have you been to the new Doctor Who restaurant?
No, I have
New
not.
York yet?
And thanks to everybody who sent me the Facebook post for it. But I can't figure out what makes it a Doctor Who restaurant other than it has a couple of pieces of art and the chairs are blue.
Well,
and it's bigger than it looks from the outside.
Well, there's a place in Brooklyn. The Way Station. Yeah, that's it. There's a place in Brooklyn called the Way Station. Thank you, Ken, in the corner with the
my brother plays there.
Oh, does he? They have a TARDIS for a bathroom, I think.
Do they really?
Yeah, I think their bathroom doors are a TARDIS or something like that. So that's kind of a Doctor Who restaurant too, I guess. And the rest of it is kind of steampunk themed, I think. So, yeah.
Well, we'll have to see how long this Doctor Who restaurant lasts, because I have no plans to go up to it anytime soon.
And just keep traveling back to the good old days.
They do one in Manhattan, I'll be right there. But going all the way up
I don't see
towards
it opening
Jay's neck of the woods.
What you could do is just wait till it closes and just jump in the TARDIS and go back and sit and visit it anytime you want.
Or go out behind the restaurant and steal whatever they were throwing out because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
We moved on to beer number 2 now?
Yeah,
this is another beer you can't get in New York. People kind of go crazy about this brewery, Three Floyds, out of Indiana.
Okay.
They make a beer called Zombie Dust. It's a pale ale. It's like the highest regarded pale ale in the land.
Grapefruit.
This is different, though. This is their wheat beer. It's called Gumball Head, and it does have a little bit of almost a gumball-y taste, but it's a very hoppy wheat beer.
I taste grapefruit.
That's probably the hops. It's like so hoppy, it's almost an IPA.
I'm excited that you said this almost tastes like gumball before I drink it.
Yeah.
I'm getting the same excitement when I found out there was like a bubblegum ice cream. You know, when you had the gumballs or the pink chiclets, depending on who made it.
The Fruity Pebble beer.
He's easily amused. Ladies and gentlemen.
Skittle Bro.
Still one of my favorites.
But yeah, this is probably like the most sought after, I guess you could say, wheat beer that
Yeah, it's
there is.
good. I like it.
It's good, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of stuff's overrated, but I don't know. People kind of go crazy trying to get
I
it.
like this one.
You guys are
it's
getting
good.
treats
It's drinkable.
tonight. These are treats.
Yeah,
This is. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is something that I could continue drinking. Like the other
Yeah.
one is a bit heavier,
Yeah,
so you
that's
can
a
maybe have
sipper.
one. And I think it's better for more of a colder day. The first one there.
Sure.
This one I could sit around and just keep refilling and
Yeah,
drinking.
it's sessionable. It's probably only about 6% alcohol.
Session.
Like,
you have to-
sessionable.
like you have to
Wow.
check in.
You sound very fancy.
You'd probably be surprised that I'm not at the Beer Bloggers Conference right now, everybody.
Omar in Pennsylvania. Omar.
Yo,
Hey, what's up?
first time caller, long time fan of T-Rock from the Opie and Anthony show. I don't know which one of you guys said that you wanted to cut the cord completely, but if you get Amazon Prime, you can watch HBO Go for free. And then you
Nice.
can stream all those Simpsons episodes through FXX with your
Oh, wow.
HBO member.
You just made my life easier because I've been dying to get rid of HBO, but I haven't because of things
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I'm a Prime member already, so
Giddy up, man.
done.
So there you go.
Calling on Monday.
Rock on.
Thanks.
Rock on.
Omar, thank you so much,
Thank you,
man. I
Omar.
appreciate it.
Indeed.
You're welcome, guys.
So Amazon Prime members get HBO Go, and you can stream FX Now.
Wait, you get HBO Go if you have Amazon Prime?
That's what that dude just said. I gotta have to look into that a little.
Trying to figure that out. I'm going to
bullshit
look
on
into that this weekend
I
because I'll
trust a guy
cancel
named-
HBO.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I trust a guy named Omar.
So there you go.
true.
Well, he's in Pennsylvania, so he's not a threat.
Omar coming.
That you know of.
Frank in the Bronx. Frank, how you doing?
What's up, E-Rock?
Hey, how are you, sir?
All right, so how jealous is Sam right now that you're on primetime Saturday night, baby?
Well, not that jealous considering he's on afternoon drive, East and West Coast on a Friday night from 3 to 6. So I think he's doing a little bit better than me.
I think we're getting a little sick and tired of him. But well, how far are you going to take the consumer, man? I really like it. I like the fact that you really enjoy testing these products.
Yes, the consumer is a bit I do online with Twitter and Instagram. It's hashtag the consumer. You can find it on eRock Radio on Instagram and Twitter, where I test a bunch of junk food and beer and ciders, which I've gotten into, which I want to ask Jay in a second about. And this week, the show is on vacation. We come back after Labor Day. So I have, and I think Matt saw the room, there's tons of stuff at my house. There's a room that's just filled with stuff for the consumer.
So it's another show you do?
It's just an online food review.
Oh, like a blog.
No, but it's
Kinda,
like
sorta.
through Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah,
so
is it
it's like
audio
a
or
condensed-
just all written?
There's a photo and a written review, and it's simple to the point whether you should get things or not. And new Oreos is going to be a teaser for that. The root
Nice.
beer, the caramel apple ones that we got.
I can't wait to try
cookie
the root beer
dough.
ones.
He's trying to sell the show to the Food Network right now.
I would love to do that, sir. I'd be gone in a heartbeat.
But he called it a show, but it's just something you type.
It's a
right?
thing, yeah.
Ruin your own projects, Jay. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate it.
Mastersofnone.com.
So let's see. Oh, I'm going to have more of this second beer if you don't mind.
There isn't anymore. I gave it to the neck, I guess.
Oh, well, they deserve it. That's fine with them. Mastersofnone.com, at Masters of None on Twitter there. Simpson stuff. We talked the marathon. I got out of the blue. I got a response to a big thing I put out on Twitter. I decided to tweet everybody that has anything to do with the current Simpsons production.
Right.
Because I couldn't get any interviews. And for some reason, FXX wasn't doing a whole lot of promotion for the marathon other than billboards and some stuff on the side, of buses.
Nice.
So I put a bunch of feelers out to everybody that's on The Simpsons that has Twitter accounts. Harry Shearer wrote me back.
Right.
He said it was too little notice. He would have loved to have done it, but he said next time. So I'll figure out maybe for the Simpsons premiere of season 26. Maybe I'll talk to Harry Shearer.
There you go.
But somebody did reach out and said that they would love to do it, and he is from the golden era of The Simpsons. A writer named Bill Oakley and his partner Josh Weinstein wrote some of the more classic episodes in Simpsons history. The top one, Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Nice.
This is a big get, dude.
It is. I was so excited. He also did, when he left The Simpsons, he did a project on Adult Swim called Mission Hill, which not a lot of people saw, but I loved. I think it only had 2 seasons. It was really weird. Brian Posehn was one of the voices in there.
Soundtrack.
Right.
And Evan Dorkin, the comic artist, was involved in
Right.
Yep.
It was a great show. It was on Adult Swim. I think it's still on their website. You can go to the Adult Swim website and check it out for yourself. He was also producing Portlandia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he just left that project, but he wouldn't tell me all the new things he was working on, so it's uber secret.
Ooh, it's a secret.
Right.
Working on something in Gaza.
I know. So, I got a chance. Simpsons talk. Why not talk to one of the guys that made everything happen? Here's my interview with Bill Oakley. Joining me on the phone right now is probably one of the most famous writers, showrunners from the entire era of The Simpsons. Bill Oakley is on the phone with me right now. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks.
Bill, you and your friend, your partner, Josh Weinstein, you've known each other since you were 14, I read?
Yes, freshman year of high school.
And it seems like you've done everything together up until this point. How did you both get hired to run The Simpsons?
Well, we were a team. It's a package deal when you were a writing team. We started writing, sample material. We started writing together in high school, actually, and then worked throughout college together. And when we moved to LA, we wrote a few sample scripts, and one of them happened to get read by Mike Reese and Al Jean, who were running the show at the time, and they liked it. They gave us an assignment, which turned into the episode Marge Gets a Job, and it came out well, and we got hired on staff, and we just gradually rose through the ranks. Fortunately, our competition for running the show left. He was Conan O'Brien, and he was standing in our way, and then he suddenly miraculously left. And although we were great friends, then the vacancy opened up, and we happened to get the job of running the show.
Now, was he standing in your way in the sense of, I know he had that position, but was he also kind of politicking, maybe blocking scripts that you had that you finally got?
No, not at all.
He left?
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. It was more that he was the most senior person
Gotcha.
at that point. He had been there the longest and was clearly capable of running the show. But about a year before that would have happened, he got hired to be a famous talk show host.
What seasons were you there for your whole tenure there?
We started in late season 3, and we left in mid-season 9.
Now, you were there for a major chunk of what people would consider the golden years of The Simpsons. When you got to finally take over as showrunner, I believe that was in season 7, was that? 6 or 7?
Yeah.
All right. You were part of some of the most famous episodes that show has ever put out, one being the 2-parter, Who Shot Mr. Burns?
Yes. Well, also, let me say, I want to make, with all due respect to everyone involved, season 3, all we were doing was copying season 3. I still maintain that season 3, and I want to say, we were huge fans of the show before we get hired. It was a miracle when we got hired there. And in retrospect, I still believe that season 3 of The Simpsons is the best season of television ever in the history of television. And when we took over, our job was, what we wanted to do was copy it. And we sat down with a whole bunch of cards and we said, okay, well, season 3, they did one Sideshow Bob episode. They did one Itchy and Scratchy episode. They did X number of emotional episodes, X number of crazy episodes. And that's how we began, by thinking, how can we best copy season 3? And I think season 7 came out great, but it owes everything to season 3. That's not too much inside baseball for you. That's the story.
Believe me, I'm nerding out on this right now, being a huge Simpsons mark, if you would, since the Tracy Ullman days.
Well, Who Shot Mr. Burns? Who Shot Mr. Burns? Second part of your question. What you actually asked, Who Shot Mr. Burns? Matt Groening's idea came into our office one time before one of the story conferences and was just musing and said, oh, yeah, we should do something like Who Shot Mr. Burns? And we were like, oh, that's a great idea. So we took it and ran with it and made up that whole thing, and it became a big marketing promotional thing. And I think it came out pretty well, actually, given the fact that it had so many complicated things that had to be happening in it. There's so much mystery stuff that had to be laid in and so many complicated strands that had to be held together. I actually think that Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1 is probably my favorite episode that we wrote.
The level of detail in that 2-part series where there's so many purposely misleading clues that you didn't know about until after it was revealed, and you watched it 2, 3, maybe 4 times. The level of dedication and just detail to this episode is unreal.
That is, it all stems back. It all goes back to the thing that we discovered that many of the characters in the series had the initials M and S or W and S, and that M is W upside down. That's like, we were like, wait a minute, we got Maggie Simpson, we got Marge Simpson, we got Waylon Smithers, and like just thinking about all those, like, you could, but those are directions on a compass, and we were able to figure. And then we made up Mo's last. Mo didn't have a last name before that, so we gave him the name Sislak, which we got out of the L.A. phone book as his last name. And Skinner, you'll see, is actually W. Seymour Skinner. It says on one of his diplomas in the background. I think that probably faded out of existence after that episode, but that was also cobbled together to give us another WS.
Now, you're saying season 3 you felt was like the best season of The Simpsons. What about that season makes it that, and what was your favorite episode from that season?
I can't even begin to pick my favorite episode from that season. There were elements of this in late season 2, but there was such a great mix of outrageous comedy, believability, and boundary pushing, subtle boundary pushing. You know, there wasn't a lot of profanity or violence or whatnot, but this conceptual boundary pushing that, you know, like the whole Homer at the bat, perfect example.
Right.
What show had ever done anything like that before, ever? And there were just so many episodes like that throughout late season 2 and season 3 where they were doing types of shows that no TV series had ever done before. And that was our goal with season 7, was to do at least 2 episodes per season that were envelope pushers, as we said. And those ended up being ones like this 22 short films, spin-off showcase, and things like that, where we were just trying to have fun with the form. I think it has to be said, and people just don't remember this, how traditional and square most TV comedies were in the early to mid-90s. With the exception of shows like It's Gary Shandling's Show and other shows that were appearing on maybe on cable at that time, there wasn't a lot of weirdness. There wasn't a lot of boundary pushing. And that's why The Simpsons, just like, it was a revelation to those of us who were watching it in 1991 and watching the 3rd season and just going, oh my God.
You got to do a Treehouse of Horror, which I imagine couldn't have been more exciting. Each year, the Treehouse of Horrors parodies famous horror stories or books and things like that. What is the process for picking what goes into each Halloween show?
Well, first of all, it was trying to figure out ones that we hadn't already done. There were so many traditional things that had already been done even by season 7. We were like, we've done Frankenstein, we've done King Kong, we did The Raven. Like, in the first 5 Treehouse of Horrors, we burned through most of the traditional horror canon. So then we started moving to Twilight Zone episodes, which you see a lot of parodies of, and then once you see how it connects up to the family, you know whether it's going to be a winner or not. One of the ones, the 3D Homer one that we did, it was to parody that Twilight Zone episode called Little Girl Lost, where that girl goes through the wall into the 4th dimension.
Right.
And as soon as you say, oh, Homer goes through the wall into another dimension, you're like, the 3rd dimension, and then immediately you know that's going to be a winner because it's got some element that has not been seen before.
One of the stories you did was a parody of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and now that particular character of Mr. Burns as Dracula is now available as a vinyl figure from Kid Robot. Does it blow your mind that something that you wrote, something you worked on, and it wasn't even a main Simpsons figure, because I know Playmates and had all that stuff out, but to see this come out way after its time and still be as popular as it is, does that blow your mind?
Well, 2 things. Yeah, first I should say that was David Merkin, who did that.
Okay.
I would say we had almost nothing to do with it, although we were in there appreciating it when people were rewriting it. But yes, that applies to a number of things that we've done on The Simpsons, like, you know, things that we were involved with the creation of a la Disco Stew and things like that. And I see the figures. I love it. I wish that I was given some free. I wish that they would send me a free one. They really don't give us any. They never give us any free stuff at The Simpsons. We would always have to pay for it. In retrospect, I wish that I had gotten more free stuff that I had been involved with creating.
Bart vs. Australia. Did you have a hand in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Josh and I wrote that.
That is one of the most quoted episodes, at least by me and people that I know, naming the bullfrog Chazwadlers, and I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
That's Australia, man. I think that's like, when we came up with this, there had been so many episodes where it was Bart versus this, Bart versus that, and we were like, well, what's the biggest thing Bart could conceivably take on? How about an entire continent? And that's where it all came from. So we're like, okay, well, what if it's a whole country that's against Bart? And then we're like, well, what country would really be good? But Australia, first of all, was a country where The Simpsons was very popular. So we sort of made that all, we made it up. And we got a guidebook to Australia, went through all the slang, and we took every pop culture thing that everybody knew about Australia and turned it up to 11, so to speak. What you're talking about there was, that's a Crocodile Dundee parody, first of all, and the Chuzwaddlers was just like, there's so many words. There's so many things in Australia where they have these crazy expressions for things that we just made up a whole bunch of random ones.
And the toilet water going the other way is also brilliant. It's not something anybody would ever think of.
I love that machine. They have that machine in the U.S. Embassy that makes the water go the proper American way.
And that Homer's saluting it while it's flushing is just amazing.
To reminisce one more thing about that episode, I love it when Bart shows his butt and it says, "Don't tread on me." I think that's, and not to blow my own horn too much, because it may have been Josh who came up with that. It's the perfect thing. Because, "Don't tread on me" was the American flag in the Revolution, or prior to the Revolution, and the fact that it goes so neatly with "Don't put your foot on my ass."
Yeah.
It brings a patriotic tear to my eye when I see Bart do that.
Bill Oakley, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you spending some time here with me, and it's really cool of you to do so, considering I had to, bug you on Twitter, and you were kind enough to say yes. That Bill Oakley, Oakley on Twitter. Bill, thank you so much. I don't know if you still talk with Josh, but if you do, tell him I'd love to have you both on again sometime soon.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks. It would be great.
Bill, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. That is me. 866-969-1969 if you want to be part of the program. Here with the Masters of None. No, keep the music up a little bit more.
Keep it.
Jay, do you recognize this?
Is this Norma's Lemon Stand?
No, this is not. This is close. This is What's Your Problem, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that band from Poughkeepsie?
I still talk to their drummer often.
Mike, right?
Yeah, he's a very angry man on Facebook. It's funny. He'd be like, "Fuck this cunt in front of me and her stupid asshole." And then the next picture's like his daughter. He's like, "Oh, we're going out for ice cream." It's like, no, you can't do both of those things, Mike. Mike Rutigliano on Facebook.
Jay and I used to work at WLIR, a show called One Step Beyond, which was punk and ska, and that was one of the bands that Jay had to deal with often. And
had to deal with? That's not a nice way of putting it.
No, they were nice people. When they didn't break up and reunite every time, they were really good.
You're starting up 15-year belated ska wars right now.
And his partner Mike from the Masters of None, mastersofnone.com. You should check out their podcast. It doesn't suck, as the logo says.
We promise.
And Matt from Big Kev's Geek Stuff.
Hello.
OG, whatever.
Here for another beer?
Matt's
yes,
fine.
let's go for another beer before we go to our next guest here.
So you may have heard the can open earlier. This is Heady Topper from The Alchemist out of Vermont. I'll just take a sip and tell me what you think.
All right.
It's a double IPA.
I can't do this one. Outside of a sip or two, I can't do this one.
You don't like it?
No, it's too
hoppy for you?
Yeah, it's a little hoppy than what I usually drink, but this isn't bad. I could drink this one. There's other ones that get really hoppy, and you're just like, no, you're done.
What do you guys think? I love it. It's good. Yeah.
It does have a salty taste to it.
Yeah,
This is widely considered in fact, this is considered the number one beer in the world.
Really?
Not in my world, sir. Not in my world.
Why is that?
It is beeradvocate.com. It's like the beer geek website, and this took over the number one place, beating out like this Belgian Trappist beer that you can't get in America.
Right.
A little brewery out of Vermont. Like, people line up to get this beer. They like follow delivery trucks to the stores to get it. They had to shut down their own store at the brewery because people were lining up, and like all the neighbors were getting pissed off. But that's it. That's the number one beer in the world right there.
This is
in a 16-ounce can.
This is a treat for you guys.
This is pretty good.
Not for me.
Very hard to get, even in Vermont itself.
But thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Limited edition beer.
That's not. I mean, they make it all the time, but it's just hard to get.
Just hard to get.
It's not limited edition.
Damn it.
It's unlimited edition.
So it's not exclusive.
It is not
limited
exclusive.
edition.
It's hard to get.
It's just hard to get.
It's hard to get.
So this is the Chase figure of beer.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Fair enough.
I like it. Way to nerd it up. Good
Yes,
job.
there we go. Let's talk to Andrew in Atlanta, and then we'll get to our guest. Andrew, what's up?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to do the impossible and pick one episode to represent the entire series. I've got my own idea of it, but what would you say is the one episode that if you had to, introduce somebody to The Simpsons, what episode would you tell them to watch?
Well, I guess the overall fan favorite would be the Mr. Plow episode. I think that's the number one seed pretty much for anybody who's a long time fan of the show or wants to get into the show. I would say Mr. Plow.
It's a good one.
That's not my favorite episode of all time. It's my number 2, but it's not my number 1. And the number 1 episode for me, it's only for personal reasons. I don't think it's anybody's favorite episode. It's from the first season where they buy an RV and go camping.
Okay.
That episode for me just was something in that episode clicked, and I said, I am watching this show forever. And
Nice.
it was the episode where they're in the woods and they have no clothes and they think they're going to starve, but Homer says, no, we're going to catch our food. So he takes a tree limb, ties it, and Bart says, what are we going to do, hang ourselves? And he goes, no, we're going to catch our dinner. And so they go watch, and they're in the bushes. A rabbit hops onto it. And as it's supposed to like grab the leg and hold it, it flings the rabbit across the forest. And he goes, all right, that didn't work. And then moved right on to plan B. I laughed so hard. That just ran on the marathon. I'm still laughing so hard. That's my number 1 episode. Matt, you got one?
I don't. Again, I don't consider myself a big enough Simpsons fan to have a favorite episode. I'll go cheesy and I'll say Mr. Plow just for the sake of conversation.
I just saw my number 1, which
Mike?
we just came on. Lisa on Ice, the one where Lisa joins the Pee Wee hockey team.
All right.
I love that episode so much because I love Homer in that episode. He's fantastic. He has some great lines. You know, all right in the front seat, buddy. And Bart tries to go, "Appa!"
Yeah, Bart gets to sit up front because he's a good guy at sports.
Oh, yeah, we watched that one at your house.
Sports.
I like Marge vs. the Monorail.
The Monorail is a great episode as
I'm a
well.
sucker for musicals.
A couple others, if you want to throw on the list there. Homer meeting his half brother Herb, and he develops the car, the Homer.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And this one's a little bit later, but it's still within the golden age. Hank Scorpio.
Oh,
Where Homer works for the James
Brilliant.
Bond villain and has no idea what's going on. He
Brilliant.
thinks he's just got a new job and everything's kind of boring.
I just found out that that the whole hammock district line, that whole thing, that
Right.
was completely ad-libbed. I just found that out the other day. That whole line was a completely ad-lib. That's my favorite line of the
Oh,
entire
that was in the
episode.
Sunday Times, right?
Yes.
That's right. I read that too.
He's trying to come up with like some pearls of wisdom
Yeah,
that he
there you
knew
go. There you go.
throughout the ages.
It was in the
So there you
op-ed
go,
piece.
Andrew. I hope that helps you out. Matt in Clifton wants to talk to Jay about the beer we're drinking.
Sure. Do
Matt.
Hey, what's going on? I love you, E-Rock. You're the fucking man, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Alchemist and that beer you are drinking. I'm a bar manager at one of the bigger craft beer bars in New Jersey, and it is common knowledge that that is one of the best in the world. It's a great IPA.
Yeah.
If anybody's doing anything up in Vermont, they need to know 2 other things. Sean Hill. It's
Hill
called
Farmstead.
Hill Farmstead, and the other one is
Lawson's.
it's gonna be Lawson's Finest Liquids. Guy knows what he's talking about.
Jay's no slouch.
Massive.com.
Sorry, Jay, you're a tremendous slouch.
Beer World. Thank you.
A little guy. I mean, he has a farm, dude, and he makes beer on a farm, and he's known as the best brewer in the world, in the fucking world. You know, like it's not easy to do from up there. So, but he's bringing you good beer, man. Respect him. That what you're drinking is special.
Respect.
Well, thank you very much there, Matt.
Love
Thanks,
you,
Matt.
dude. Good luck. Hope this shit stays on. I love the fucking the consumer, bro. Love the fucking consumer, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
thank you very much.
That was a plant, right?
No, that was actually, he wanted to talk to you.
That was actually Adrian in the other room.
Let's get to our next guest here, or guests here, if you will. Tying in with The Simpsons, there's a line of toys out for the 25th anniversary, which are incredibly made. They're very well detailed. And the selections so far have been humorous and pretty amazing as far as what they're putting out as their figures. So I got a chance to talk to the guys from NECA Toys, and they wanted to come in, and now they're here in studio. We have Randy, Chris, and him.
Oh. Ultimate insult.
Jim.
Well, let's see if I have your mics on there.
There's
There we
mics
go.
on. There you go.
They said you're the voice of the company here, so you're going to talk about the
And you didn't
Simpsons
have his
line.
mic on, so
I
that's-
know.
that's
my bad, because I was looking at Randy. Maybe the beer. I don't know.
I don't know your name. I don't know your microphone button.
And go.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
NECAonline.com and NECA_toys on the Twitter.
Yes.
Tell us about this Simpsons line here. Wave 3 is coming out September or October?
It's coming out early September.
You got to get up real close to that mic there.
Early September.
Early September. In this line, it's pretty cool. They have Penn and Teller.
Nice.
which is awesome.
That's great.
They have Bret the Hitman Hart, which I only had one episode where he bought Mr. Burns' mansion and said, "Ooh, this place has old man smell." That was the only line he had. What else is in the Wave 3 for the Simpsons line there?
That's awesome.
All right, we got Leonard Nimoy,
Yeah.
and then with him we have Mr. Burns, where he's glowing in the dark because
From the X-Files
alien?
episode.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's pretty cool. We also got Lisa to match up with Penn and Teller.
Oh, she's dressed up like the Harry Potter character?
Yeah, magician Lisa. We also have we got Milhouse. He's kind of dressed as a poet. It's kind of a tie-in along with Stephen King from Insane Clown Poppy.
Okay.
From that episode. So so Stephen King. We got REM.
All right, let me ask you about REM here. Now, do you guys choose the characters, or is this The Simpsons telling you what we're going to license to you?
It's a combination. I mean, when I first jumped in, the list for the most part was pretty much already established, with the exception of maybe Series 4 and 5 coming up.
Yeah, it was complicated. The whole premise of the line is 25 years of the 25 greatest guest stars.
Okay.
So we made a list. And then Fox, who's the licensor, had a list. And then Gracie, which is Groening's company, they had their own list.
Okay.
So it was kind of like a mediation where we all had to sort of, pick and choose, almost like doing a draft or something. Come up with what everyone was going to be happy with, what everyone was going to approve, and then also what is all marketable. Because Gracie had some stuff that was kind of out in left field that we were like, I don't know if that'll sell.
Do you have any examples?
Really more of the obscure sports stuff that wouldn't work like worldwide, because we're not concerned just with the U.S. We sell globally all over the world. So some of the stuff, it's like if it's like an obscure baseball player, it's not going to sell anywhere but in America. So
no Greg Jeffries figure,
or Ozzie Smith falling through the Springfield mystery spot. Well, let me ask you then, if you guys got to pick and you went over all these lists and narrowed down what was going to be accepted, where did REM fall into being accepted here? Like, why were they picked?
Well, they are a pretty big band. Still,
I was going to say that.
Especially
they're a big band, but as far as their Simpsons relevance is what I'm asking.
Michael Stipe comes separate from the other three.
Yeah, right.
The musician thing added another variable to it,
right?
Because say you're going to do REM, Stipe's the one everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to do Aerosmith, everyone knows Tyler and Perry, but they don't know the rest of them.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because I was thinking about the REM selection in there, and I was wondering why they either didn't do Steven Tyler and Joe Perry from Aerosmith in the Flaming Moe episode, like on stage at Moe's or something like that, or the Ramones at Mr. Burns' birthday.
Right.
Yeah. Were those on anybody's list?
They are, and some of those you may or may not see. There's still 2 more series this year.
Yeah.
But the thing that's unique is, first of all these celebrities have to want to do this, which is a huge obstacle in itself.
Well, the Ramones are dead, so their families might say yes.
And some might, and some might not.
One of them works here. Marky Ramone does a show on Faction, even though he wasn't in the original 4, but he'll say yes because he was a Ramone.
Okay.
So you got one signature down.
CJ will be in too.
And then you have none of them are going to let you do just like. You're not going to get to do just Tyler and Perry. You got to do the whole band.
The whole band, yeah.
And same thing with REM.
Because Brad Whitford, is that his last name?
Yep.
Had a speaking role because he was being seduced by Mrs. Krabappel. So that's 3.
And then Joey Kramer.
Well, he can just stay in the back.
I think you're hard pressed to
Put him on the card so it looks like he's part of the figures there. Can you, if they do, say they do the Ramones, can you have on the card where, like on this one we're looking here, it has Homer Simpson in the tuxedo applauding for the 25th anniversary. Could you have on the card Mr. Burns with an evil face and the bubble saying, "Have the Rolling Stones shot and killed"?
I could try to get it approved.
I think you would sell so many of those figures.
I mean, it's an idea for sure, Maybe I could slip it in there.
Oh, is that the pen one right there?
Yeah, I was excited about this. That's the Penn Jillette figure. We'll tweet these out at E-Rock Radio. And the one over here I'm looking at is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Now,
hero. Did you have to go through WWE to get permission for this, or is this just Bret because he owns the gimmick?
His name and his likeness, so it's just through him, and he was one of the first people to say yes, and also one of the first celebrities that said, I want all the proceeds for my figure to go to charity.
Who was the
super cool guy?
So everything that the royalties off of this goes to his, what charity?
Do you remember, Jim?
No.
All right,
it's on his website, and when he does signings at all the wrestling shows and everything, almost all of it goes to charitable.
Who's the one guy that you wanted to get the most that was the hardest to get as well? Get the rights to?
I can't I can't say because I don't want to. I don't want to ruin any.
Are you still trying to get the rights to those people?
Yeah, a lot
I keep pushing for Metallica.
I wanted Judas Priest, but that episode happened after we did this. But I love Judas Priest.
Well, I did like in the, I believe it was in the second wave, you had The Who, which was, I was amazed they said yes to it, which is really cool, and the figures do look amazing. But that was the episode where the town was divided by garbage, right? And they performed on the wall of garbage.
Yeah.
Right.
Even I remember that episode.
East and West Springfield.
Right.
We were close to getting Elton John. His assistant actually is a huge toy collector and knew of our company and has tons of our Gremlins and Freddy and Jason and all this stuff, and he brought it to Elton, but for various reasons that we just can't go into, it didn't work out, but that was one we were real close with in the beginning.
I just want to point out also, too, with NECA Toys, they're doing the Simpsons line, and we're talking about the Simpsons line here with all the Simpsons stuff going on, but NECA has an amazing inventory of other licenses for products and toys and things that they put out. If you're a big video game fan, they do BioShock Infinite, which was one of my favorite games. You do Gears of War, right?
Yep.
Portal. What are some of the other ones that you have? Borderlands.
Yeah. All the Valve titles, so Half-Life, Team Fortress, we did Street Fighter, Resident Evil.
I was going to say you did Resident Evil too, yeah.
For a while we did Assassin's Creed. We're working with Blizzard now on Diablo and on their new title, Heroes of the Storm, which sort of has all the franchises under one umbrella.
Oh, nice.
And with the figures, when people go and see these in the stores, I at first was a little curious as to why they're a little bit more expensive than others. But I got a chance to visit the NECA plant, if you will, the warehouse, and saw the amazing Whoa, there we go. That's beer number 4.
Just trying to do that quietly.
The amazing detail that gets put into this, the artwork for the cards. I saw the artist just hand painting something. I don't want to give anything away.
No, it's okay. It was for Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Yeah, that he was doing it from hand just by looking at a still at the movie. He's just looking at the still and painting, and it was an amazing job. So I kind of understand why some of these toys seem a bit more expensive than other things that you see in Toys R Us. The quality of these toys are amazing. You're not going to get disappointed. If you go to Toys R Us right now, you'll see the BioShock Infinite ones. You'll see the Portal figures. The detail and the sturdiness of them it really is an incredible figure. I don't want to call it. Can you want to call it art? Piece of work?
You absolutely can call it art.
Right.
It's art as a consumer product, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great line. They also do movies, too. Some of the stuff I saw in your warehouse, I don't know if you're still active with those licenses. Rocky, do you still do those?
Do a little bit with it, not as much. We kind of did 1 through 4, which are really the best ones, and, kind of run its course.
They also do Pacific Rim.
Yep.
Which do you have... Are you part of Pacific Rim too?
I am. I run that line, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's still going strong. I mean, the box office was marginal, but the merchandise, we're a year after the film, and it's killing, and we're going all the way through next summer. And, Guillermo's working on some other stuff now, an animated thing and a sequel, so hopefully we'll keep going with it all the way through.
That's great.
It's kicking butt.
The huge Jaegers, fantastic.
Yeah, we did Big Gypsy Danger. We got Cherno Alpha coming out this fall.
NECA was nice enough to bring in a couple of things here. We're looking at the Wave 3 of The Simpsons, but they brought a couple of things from Matt that you have right there, if you want to just tell everybody what you got, because one of them's Pacific Rim, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's Gypsy Danger and the Knifehead Kaiju, the 2-pack. I mean... If you haven't seen the movie, what are you waiting for? But if you have seen the movie and you haven't seen the NECA pieces, you need to run out and get them if you could still find them. Some of them are kind of hard to come by.
Yeah,
still,
they do. They kind of get retired, or when we move on to production on a second or third series, the first series stuff is,
And these are what, like 10-inch scale, 8-inch scale?
About 7 to 8.
7 to 8, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the detail on the figures, Gypsy Danger looks amazing, beautiful. I haven't opened it yet, so I can't tell you what the articulation is like, because normally
So what toys on the desk are getting the old heave-ho to put these on there?
Wow. I don't know. These will definitely go in the studio. I'll probably just move.
Felix the cat.
I'll move something over to. I have no Felix the cat. Maybe some Smurf stuff. They're just great figures. I gotta say, as a toy collector and as a guy who opens all of his toys, one thing that is no, for sure.
That's why you buy 2.
No, if you buy a toy, well, okay, fine. But if you buy a toy and don't open it up, come on, they're meant to be played with. They're meant to be displayed, in my opinion. But
it ruins the value, sir. You of all people should know that.
I don't buy toys for value.
Buy 2.
The only reason you're buying toys is to resell them. Then yes, buy 2.
Christmas is coming up. Buy 2.
I gotta ask about Knifehead. Will he stand?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Cool. Cool. That's always a concern for me, and I'm looking at, I'm just looking at the way he looks, and I've seen other companies put out figures that look something like that, where they might not stand because
Guaranteed he will stand.
Awesome.
And what is the other piece that you have there?
This is a Gentleman Claptrap from Borderlands. If you haven't played Borderlands, again.
Well, let me tell you about Borderlands.
But you haven't played Borderlands 2 yet.
I haven't played Borderlands at all. But I haven't. But my buddy down in D.C., Chad Dukes, was talking to me about Borderlands. He loves that series. He's all about it. He's got a book club going for Borderlands right now because they have the Borderlands books.
Right.
So
that's special.
Yeah, it is special. And he's all about this game, and he's encouraging me to get into Borderlands.
So I think you would enjoy it.
I'm going to try Borderlands 1 and 2 during the break here.
Yeah, I played Borderlands 1. I started Borderlands 2, and I didn't get very far in it. Other things in life got in the way. But Claptrap is a great character from the franchise. He's kind of like your guardian angel / he's your helper. Yeah.
Is he like the paperclip in Microsoft Word?
But much cooler.
Okay.
And of course, this is a variant on the figure from Borderlands 2, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So, but he's got a top hat, sir. Any character with a top hat is a must.
He's fancy, huh?
He's a fancy.
And Mr. Peanut.
But yeah, definitely.
Monopoly guy.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Borderlands and you haven't seen these, definitely check them out.
Robot Devil.
How many different Claptraps have you put out now? There's a bunch, right?
4. We did the yellow, which is a traditional standard Claptrap. A blue was the second one we did, and then we did the Gentleman Caller, and we did Jacob's Claptrap, which is like the wood grain one.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit more like steampunk. There's a lot of brass etchings and stuff like that on it. So 4, I believe, in total.
Very cool.
You have some other big licenses too. Harry Potter, and you had Hunger Games.
We did. Yeah.
What is the biggest license that you have to date, and what is the best selling?
Wow. Predator, believe it or not, is probably the one we've gone the deepest with. We're on the 13th series, and I've done over 60 different Predators.
Wow.
So we've covered all the films, done some comic book-based Predators, and done Predators from some of the video games. And back in the early 90s, a company called Kenner used to do a Predator toy line. We've sort of done like modern updates or homages to those Kenner figures as well. So that line has really been insane for a film that really only had one great movie, 25 years ago, and then a lot of crappy movies.
Come on, you didn't like the second one?
No.
My favorite is the Predator with the top hat. That's my favorite one.
And the monocle.
That's the variant.
That's the Comic-Con figure.
So Predator is the top line or the best selling?
It's one of the best selling, and it's our longest running line, where we've gone, at this point, 13 series deep into the line, and we're still doing more next year.
How long has this company been around?
Doing action figures about 10 years. The company overall has been around about 15, but they were doing like a lot of music merchandise and tour merchandise and different collectibles before the toy thing blew up.
Hey, I love the feature on the Bret the Hitman Hart. When you lay it down on its back, you hear Vince McMahon go 1, 2, 3, and then the belt inside disappears.
You gotta pay
cool.
Vince.
And if you squeeze his legs, he spits on your face. Well, these Simpsons pieces are just amazing, and hopefully there's some here that maybe aren't accounted for in the inventory that maybe, like that Pendulette one there, I could go home with.
Absolutely.
Would you happen to have any that maybe we could throw to the listeners?
Definitely. Jim, we brought some giveaways,
We
right?
do.
A whole box of it.
What do we have?
Ooh. Let's pull the box over.
Hey, you want to know the last beer we're drinking, by the way?
Yeah, so while they're doing
there you
that,
go.
let's go to the last beer here.
This is the one that the cork flew out of. This is, since I heard Mr. Erock here is a Game of Thrones fan.
Well, who isn't at this point?
I'm not.
Do you have the Game of Thrones line?
We don't. But I've done Khal Drogo cosplay.
Yeah.
And my wife was Daenerys, and our daughter was the baby dragon, so that's pretty cool. But we did.
How old's your daughter?
Well, she's now 4.5, but she was 2 when we did it.
Do you think she'll rebel from the cosplay? Maybe going into her 10, 12 range around there?
I hope not.
Jay, I'm sorry, what was this?
Since you told me you're a Game of Thrones fan earlier today, I was up at Omegang a couple weeks ago, and this is the next Game of Thrones beer, Valar Morghulis. Is that how you say it?
This is the one I haven't had.
It's not out yet for like
Matt's
another
been
month.
over my house where we've shared all the ones to date.
Yeah, this is the next one that's not out yet.
Amazing.
I brought it just for you, Mr. Erock.
I'm going to try
Look at
it
that. He's a swell guy. Can I ask you very quickly if we have
mastersofnone.com, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. Beer World. Thanks,
this
Beer
is
World.
good.
Yeah, this is a Belgian double style or a double, if you want to get really douchey
I'll say
about
right now, the first one, not my favorite out of the 4.
Yeah.
But
Mexican cake.
Yeah, and it's
this
not
is a
bad,
great
but it's
beer.
not. It's like you said, a little too hoppy. No, that was the stout.
Yeah,
that was the stout. The stout was a little too. That's the one that tastes like cold coffee.
Yes.
With the jalapeno in it.
Habanero, sir. Habanero.
Second one was the gumball head.
The gumball was good. The third one was really good, and this one is good as well.
Yeah, this is it's much like their Omegang Abbey beer, but it's a great beer. It's got the two-headed coin on the label. I think it's coming out, I don't know, a month when the show comes back on. But yeah, they literally just bottled it, and at their festival a couple weeks ago, they had a whole Game of Thrones experience.
I think we're gonna have to run a little bit late.
That's
here.
fine.
Oh,
That
boy.
gives me a chance to ask a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
So now that I know that, because we talked a little bit when the mics weren't on, that you're going to be at New York Comic Con this year.
Yep.
Do you guys have any exclusives planned? Because I haven't heard anything yet. So if you can't share yet, that's fine. I know other people are starting to share because it is, 6 weeks away at
You
this
just
point?
got one answer. He's gonna be there.
Yes.
So we know that.
But I meant as far as exclusives are
I
concerned.
can tell you a couple things. They're not final, so it's
Okay.
just, we're trying to get them done as time is short. The show is in less than 2 months. It's like 7 weeks or something from now. But we're trying to do an exclusive version of Bret Hart.
Nice.
In a different style package, different colors, and actually have Bret there to sign the
awesome.
figures. And then we're also doing some stuff with the Misfits, who are also Jersey guys, like most of us here. And we're trying to do an exclusive of The Fiend, the Crimson Ghost, and have Jerry Only come by and sign those at the booth as well. So
Very
there's
cool. Danzig.
a couple things we're working on. You're never going to get those guys in the same place at the same time. But
you have a better chance of reuniting the Ramones.
Because I guess the last time,
Because they're dead.
the last time you were at New
Thanks.
The last time you were at New York Comic Con, your exclusive, or one of your exclusives, I recall, was the Turtles.
That's right.
4-pack, the black and white.
Yeah, we had
Still
Peter
one of my
Laird there.
favorite figures, and the colored ones too. And whatever happened with that license? Why did that? I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of places you could have gone with that.
Oh yeah, and we had a lot of prototypes done for Shredder and the Elite Guard. And
I
Foot
thought you were
Soldier,
talking about
Ultron.
Flo and Eddie, the happy together guys. No, I'm totally
What are you
serious.
watching,
I really
really?
thought that.
Yeah. What did I miss?
Call me old school. I don't know.
So what happened is the licensing business, at least when it comes to toys, is complicated. So
Right.
Playmates has always been the master toy license for Turtles since day one. The time we got to come in and do what we were doing, it was sort of on a moratorium from Playmates. They were waiting for that relaunch, which is now that mega successful thing on Nick. So before that happened, we were allowed to play in the Eastman and Laird universe and just do the classic comics, which was great.
Which is great,
All
yeah.
we wanted to do, and no one had ever done comic faithful versions, so that's what we were doing. Then it reached a point where just through the specialty market, we were not able to sell enough to justify all of our overhead.
Right.
So we needed to sell into bigger avenues like Toys R Us, for example. And Playmates was not cool with that because they had their own plans and their own relaunch coming up. So, because they're the master toy license, they said no. So it kind of went away. But we are working on trying to bring it back in a different realm, even if it's only like direct to consumer at conventions. We're trying to explore some different avenues for next year to bring Turtles back.
That would be awesome. I would be so excited to continue collecting that line. They're some of my favorite turtle figures ever put out. They're awesome.
Thank you.
Did you have much resistance from who has the turtle line now? Viacom, right?
No,
Nickelodeon.
Playmates has the toy license.
Has the toy license.
Yeah.
But Nickelodeon has creative control over it.
They have the license, right? They're the license holder.
Did you have? Is that one of the reasons?
No.
You were having difficulty was because Nickelodeon, and you guys lean more towards like a young adult based toy line.
When we were doing it, it was before Nick had the license. It was through a company out of New York called 4Kids, and we didn't really have any problem with it. They were into doing some more edgier stuff for the collectors, and I think at this point Nick is too, because they're looking at the classic 80s or late 80s, early 90s cartoons that like a lot of guys who are now like about 30 grew up with. As well as exploring other avenues like the comic book, which is kind of what we're more interested in. The stuff from like 84, 85, like the Eastman and Laird, like when it started, the really rough like drawings and the really more mature.
And how you captured that in those figures. I mean, that really rough kind of...
the hash
it looks like it was
marks
pulled off the pages. They really are some of my favorite Turtles figures ever put out.
Thank you. It's kind of fun now to see like Playmates and some of these other guys and some of the designer vinyl guys completely copying what we did, because no one had ever done what we did, and now I've seen 2 or 3 other guys. So imitation's the sincerest form of flattery, as they say. So.
If at some point that they would be kind enough to do this again, I spoke with Chris a while back. That's how the whole thing came about with NECA Toys, and they were nice enough to let me to go over there and take a tour of the place, the facility where they're doing the sculpting, the painting, and your office, by the way, which I want to get to in a second, is an incredible you just walk in and you want to cry. Like, this is what my basement should be.
What my office in my home.
They have, you see the current toy line, you see the stuff that's in development that they don't want to talk about, you see some of the lines that they put out but don't focus on anymore. They even have a line that they made that never got released. And I wanted to ask you about that. Are we allowed to talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm not a Rocky Horror fan, but I know, like, you and Kevin are.
Yeah.
And the figures that they had, I saw Frankenfurter up there. Mm-hmm. And I saw the rest of the line they had, and the detail and the quality of this thing is amazing. I said, I've never seen these before. Right. And there's a whole story as to why you've never seen these before.
Yeah, so we were doing those a few years ago. I think it was for the 35th anniversary.
Nice.
And we did Riff Raff and Frankenfurter, like you said, and they're gorgeous. Like, really, really well done. And sent them through Fox, who the licensor, approved instantly. They said, these are beautiful, best renditions we've ever seen. And then they go through another round of approvals to... I think it was the producer. I don't even think it was a director. There's a guy by the name of Lou Adler that produced a ton of movies in the late 70s, a lot of the Cheech and Chong movies, and Rocky Horror. And for whatever reason, he did not like them. I guess he doesn't like realism and wanted them more stylized or cartoony.
But like those bendy-looking ones that came out previous. I don't remember the company that put them, but they looked like bendy toys.
You know your stuff, man. There was a company called Vital Toys that did something in the mid to late 90s, and they were awful.
They were terrible.
And he approved all of those. So
amazing.
Go figure.
They did. They looked like bendy toys.
Yeah, it's awful. And I think that's what he wanted. And aside from the fact that, it's a business. We're in it. We got to make a profit. It wasn't what we wanted to do.
Can I ask you a question about another license that I think that you might have shown one year, but never got anywhere? Did you have Fifth Element at one point in time?
No, that was not
That wasn't you? I thought you guys had a Fifth Element.
That was N2, which was like the ex-Kenner guys that were doing like Matrix and Road Warrior and Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
It was those guys. That wasn't us.
Years ago, I remember I saw them at Toy Fair, and I think it was only one or two figures from the line, but wow. I wish someone would have grabbed that one.
As we continue on with the guys from NECA Toys here, how many do we have to give away here? How many people can we give some stuff here to?
A lot, I think.
Subtract 2 for me and Mike.
Over 20.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are from which wave, or is it a random?
Wave 3.
Wave 3, which isn't even out yet.
Right.
Simpsons 25th anniversary figures, Wave 3, not out yet. In celebration of the 25 years of The Simpsons, the FXX Marathon that's currently going on, and the 26th season that starts at the end of September here. We're going to, if you want to call us, 866-969-1969. We'll give away some of these figures here. Again, Bret the Hitman Hart, Penn and Teller, REM,
Leonard Nimoy.
So there's a separate teller from the pen.
Magician Lisa.
Awesome.
And Milhouse the Poet.
Milhouse the Poet, Stephen King.
We have all those
the teller
there.
one actually
And
talks.
Mr. Burns.
You cannot select the ones that you want. We're going to give them away at random. And
awesome.
I expect Sam to be calling at any moment for the Bret the Hitman Hart figure. I'm looking for his number now. So let's screen those calls there if we can.
With Vanishing Belt.
What is this one here? Oh, this is Teller. This one's
hilarious.
awesome.
Would it be great if that one just had a pull string and he just talks?
But he is to scale.
He is to scale.
They're all to scale.
With pen, yeah.
What's cool is also
Stephen
seeing the
King.
celebrities kind of embrace it. Like Kid Rock has
why
tweeted
wouldn't
about
you?
his figure.
How would
and
you not?
Hefner's wife took the figure and was like, here's Hef playing with his bunnies. And it was like the toy Hefner with a bunch of like bunny rabbits that were in like the yard or something.
Believe me, when First Wave came out, one of the guys in the toy line, the First Wave there, works here at SiriusXM, Tony Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
He has a show on Faction. And I talked to his New York producer.
Name drop.
I talked to his New York producer, and I said,
Guy
next
Tony.
time he's in New York, I get my figure signed. I just want the figure signed. I don't need to talk to Tony Hawk. I just want the figure signed.
I got a Hefner signed, which is cool. Cause
That's
he's getting up
awesome.
there. He's like about 90.
Is that
right?
hanging in your office?
It's
is that
not
at home?
yet. That's at home.
Let me tell you about his office. His office is great because there's no wallpaper. It's lined. It's what you want to do as a kid and as an adult. It's figures unopened, lined perfectly next to each other. You don't see the wall on all sides. Now you have the Masters of the Universe line, which was the new one, or the one that was the new one, which is amazing. And then you have G.I. Joe on the far back there.
Yep. Yeah, so it's not stuff that we make, but I love toys, period. That's why I'm in this business.
Do you have deals with other toy guys that you swap stuff out?
Yeah, we do some trades. I mean, I go out and hunt because it's part of the fun, and I buy stuff. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, and of course, like that's what I started with was like Mego and Star Wars, and then it became Joe and He-Man. But I love all that stuff.
Where's your collection go with Star Wars? We have a friend, Kevin, who huge Star Wars fan. but he focuses mostly on stormtroopers.
Yeah,
right?
he's an Imperial Army builder.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So do you have one of those niches, or are you everything Star Wars?
I wish it was that narrowly focused. I have every figure from day one, from 77 till the present, and then I do Army build as well. So like when that 6-inch Stormtrooper came out a few months ago, I bought about 24 of them.
Yeah,
so I was like $500 in Stormtroopers.
I put that on your LinkedIn account.
I collect only Wampa Dung.
Can you vote for my achievement as Imperial Storm Builder?
Listen, as a Star Wars collector, you have to become focused. I used to buy a lot of different things, and I've focused down to just astromech droids now.
Right.
Almost everything else I've gotten rid of, I'm just doing astromech droids now.
I can't focus.
Yeah, it's hard, I know.
Ooh, shiny. Just give it to me. Let's take some calls here. Let's go to Jeremy in Atlanta. Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what can we do for you, sir?
Nothing much. I just heard you talking about the Star Wars. I had an original Millennium Falcon still in the box from the first run of that toy.
Nice.
And my ex-wife one day
threw it out.
No, she actually gave it to my 7-year-old stepson to play with. And I came home and nothing was said. I just happened to walk past this room and I instantly saw the box like ripped open and he was sticking stickers just haphazardly over it.
How long have you been divorced, sir?
Actually, I've been divorced for 8 years.
Fucking Eric.
All right.
Nice. He sounds sullen.
It was one of those things, like I literally was talking about that 3 days ago. I will never get over what she did.
Well,
That's a broken man right there.
We can't repair that. We can't time travel, but we can help you sort of restart your toy collection here. Would you like one of the fine Simpsons products here from NECA Toys?
I would very much like one.
Okay. Jeremy, we'll put you on hold. Jeremy, we'll put you on hold.
I'm going to open it for him
we'll
first.
give you something, yeah. Quality control. We'll play with it a little bit here. Let's go to another Jeremy in Vegas. Jeremy.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good. I'm a 23-year-old male, and I...
Wait, what?
Age, sex, location?
Felt the need to qualify that, all right.
What's your
not an
Tinder
AOL
profile?
chat room, Jeremy?
my mother just threw out all my toys on me.
I'm sorry?
She piled
She
all
threw
your
out
toys
all his
on you?
toys.
Oh.
Well, that sounds
No
right.
way.
And that was just yesterday.
Yesterday?
It was last week, actually.
Oh
I
my
was moving out
God.
to my apartment, and she threw them out on me.
Why are
Okay,
you
so
still
when
living
is
at
her
home at
funeral? That's
23?
my question. How many years for murder are you
I just
facing?
moved out with my good friends from high school.
Okay. So
He wants a toy, Eric. Will you just give him a toy?
I'm just seeing how far he'll go here.
Just give him a goddamn action figure.
right.
Jeffrey.
His childhood puppy died that day also. I mean,
All right, you gotta have a good sob story to get a toy. I guess I can't say. Jeremy, we'll put you on hold. Hang on. So that's 2 Jeremys. Is there a third?
Hi.
No,
My
there's
name's Jeremy.
a,
I've got cancer.
Let's go to
Toy cancer?
let's go to Devin in Kansas. Devin,
Yeah, how you doing?
hi. How are you, sir?
Just full disclosure, I'm not a huge Simpsons fan. I'm not a huge toy fan.
Boo. Next caller. This is why we worked so well together so far back in the day.
Steve in Des Moines. Steve.
E-Rock answered the phones for me.
Steve, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Good to talk to you, man.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm a small-time collector. I still have some of my G.I. Joes, like the Technodrome, some of my old Ninja Turtles.
I never had the Technodrome. I didn't even know there was a Technodrome.
Yeah.
Was there?
yeah, it was a
there
big playset.
Big playset.
Oh, damn it.
That's where dubstep was invented.
Not good.
Right? No?
I had the big G.I. Joe aircraft carrier in the basement.
Awesome.
But I would have
yeah,
sold
man,
that thing for a Technodrome. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was cool stuff back in the day, but I still have it for my son, but nothing's in real good condition anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still cool stuff. The Turtles, too, I still have, Shredder and a few of the Turtles also.
All right.
Bebop, Rocksteady. So,
Well, if I was giving away turtle stuff, I would give you something from the Turtles. But
name
this
drop.
is Simpsons here.
Name drop.
Are you a Simpsons fan?
yeah, man, we've been watching all the Simpsons episodes on lately. We're big-time Simpsons fans.
Okay. Steve in Des Moines, I'm just going to give it to you because you're unfortunate enough to live in Des Moines. So I'll put you on hold there. Line 8. A lot of Jersey calls here. Let's go to Colin in Jersey. Colin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi, how are you,
Thanks
sir?
for taking my call. Good, good. So I have a ridiculously hot wife, and she happens to be in love with a nerd.
You do not need toys, sir.
No, wait. Well, it gets good because I bought the Batman Arkham Origins collector's edition. It came with a whole sculpture of the Joker with a whole bunch of TVs behind it.
Yeah, that's a
And-
great piece.
Dude, it's awesome. And my wife was like, "What's this for?" I'm like, "You just look at it." She's like, "You don't play with it?" I'm like, "No. You just look at it. And sometimes you can turn the button on to make the TV go on in the back." She's like, "You're a fucking idiot." I was like, "You married me." So that's part of the deal. And I would love to put Simpsons shit up there and just annoy the shit out of her. So.
Dude, you have a hot wife. Why are you going to ruin it?
Yeah, and
Not
she
that the
knows how to
Simpsons
use
toys
her
will
toys.
ruin it, but with all these toys, why are you trying to drive her away?
It's just I want her to know what she got into, and we just had a kid too, so like the deal, like it's fucking sealed. This is done.
You need to hang this high.
You're really
because
married.
your kid will rip it open.
Oh, definitely. No, this is a no Ellie cuts kind of thing.
Okay. Colin, we'll put you on hold. We have one for him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Colin, we'll put you on hold. We'll give you something Simpsons there. Now everyone's calling in here.
Of course they are.
Well, it was beer talk and how quickly they hung up and want toys. Joe in Cleveland. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. I used to have an Inspector Gadget action figure. I know, right? You've never heard of it.
Hold on one second. Anybody?
The Matthew Broderick version.
If I had a nickel every time I heard this conversation.
Anybody I knew that had the Inspector Gadget toy, all the accessories for the hat were broken.
Broken. Everyone.
And it would not
Yeah.
sit in the hat, so
Yeah.
the thing was useless.
Yep. And he had the little mini pea coat.
Right.
Yeah.
For flashing in the park.
With it, but, I had all the parts and everything. I was mitten box. My dad gave it to my 5 and 4-year-old niece and nephew who lived next door. And I came home from college one day, and it was just destroyed.
And then what happened?
That was like the last gift my mom gave me when I was a kid before she died.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Stop.
I know, right?
Wow.
Was it lead poisoning from the Inspector Gadget action figure?
Yeah, maybe.
And then the Zeppelin crashed into my house. Wow. Humanity.
Go Gadget resuscitation.
Right now, I pick up Star Trek and Doctor Who action figures every now and then when I'm at conventions. And
All right, we get it. You have a lot of toys. Now let me throw it around the room here. Everyone gets a vote. I was all set to give him one until he brought up the mother dying.
Then you don't want to give it?
No, because I'm not sure it's a real story. But if it is, I apologize to you, sir. But I'm going to throw it. I'm going to make it democratic here and go around the room. Should we give Joe one of these toys, Mike?
Thumbs up.
Randy?
Thumbs up.
Chris?
Yeah, sorry.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. That's one no.
Wow. Why not? Give him a toy.
Give him a toy. Jay?
Yeah, why the hell?
Matt?
I can't say no to the guy whose mom may or may not have died.
All right. Joe, it doesn't bring your mom back, but it'll give you something to do. We'll give you, Joe, one of the figures. We'll find something good for you.
Stay
Is
strong,
there
Joe.
a dead mom figure in there you can throw in there?
Stay strong, Joe. One day at a time, all right, buddy?
With the coffin that springs open.
Do you guys do a Mrs. Wayne?
Going back to Jersey. Vinny in Jersey.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Vinny, how are you?
I'm good. It's just, I actually work with Mecca. I do the posters for Pacific Rim, and it was just nice to hear you guys.
Liar.
You do the what?
I swear to God. I can prove.
Wait, what is it that you do?
What?
I do the posters. The name of the company is Scorpio Posters. We printed the Pacific Rim posters for you guys.
Okay.
We're getting a nod.
Django
Yes.
Unchained, we
Yes.
did.
There's Django Unchanged toys?
There were.
No,
You don't know about that?
They were.
Django Unchanged. All his change falls out of his pockets. Oh, no.
That's a whole show in
He gets
itself.
whipped while he's picking up his
He had one
nickels.
of those change wallets.
That was an interesting set of toys.
Yeah, it sure was. That blew up big time.
Yeah, it
Are they
did.
collectibles now?
At one point they were going for about $1,000 each, and
Wow.
the retail was about $30 each, and this happened in a span of about a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were like that weird like Migos sort of
Yep,
style.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's racist.
Apparently, the entire toy line was. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to be real careful with
Yeah,
the lip
really.
size.
It was like a big thing.
Yeah,
It was
it got
like in,
picked
like-
up,
it got
and it
picked
was
up,
on.
like,
It
everywhere.
was on like Kimmel Show
Yeah.
and Conan.
Right.
And, yeah, it was a big deal.
So are you looking for a toy, Vinny?
I actually am. One of the guys that works for us is a huge Simpsons fan, and I don't know. I thought I heard Eric say something about a Bret Hart. I don't know if you guys had a Bret Hart.
That one's mine. That one's going
That
nowhere.
one's claimed, sir.
Oh, I figured that.
Hold on. I don't. If we have another one,
3 more.
okay, we'll give you one. But you know what? I'm going to do a trade here. This is now swap talk.
Uh-oh.
I want a Pacific Rim poster.
Hey, Eric, I'll send you whatever posters you guys want for the whole
Signed by
show.
Guillermo
Vinny,
Toro.
let's make a deal.
Love it, Eric.
Okay, I'll put you on hold.
All right, cool.
Okay, hang on. Oh, I
So
just
that's the
locked
whole
this
point
call.
of Eric's show.
No, but when somebody else calls in with other stuff, you got to seize an opportunity, Jay. Mastersofnone.com and NECAonline.com. This guy wants to go back to Simpsons episodes. Let's cleanse the palate a little bit. Dan in Indiana. Dan?
I was just wondering, you guys were talking about your favorite episodes. What, you didn't mention mine, I was kind of surprised, but what were your two favorite jokes, or a couple of your guys' favorite jokes from some of those?
Favorite jokes from the episodes?
Yeah.
Is there any more beer left?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do that with, that's usually more of a spontaneous thing in a discussion.
Right.
When you throw those lines out. Because
Like
you don't
a
think,
reference or
you
something?
don't think about, when you go to think about it, it's like, I can't think of one. But
How
when
about-
something comes up, you throw it right out.
How about this? What line do you quote most often?
I say Boo Earns.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Sexy Flanders is a good one.
Matt?
Boo Earns is probably
Boo
the
Earns,
one that I
that's
use,
my
yeah.
go-to.
I always say and then anything.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
I used to
obscure
also
subject.
Sacrilegious, I do a lot.
I used to also do where he'd go, saxophone, saxophone. We're retarded. You can't say that anymore.
The R word.
You can't say the R word
right.
anymore. I do apologize to all those organizations. Dan in Indiana, do you want a Simpsons toy?
Yeah, sure, I'll take one.
All right, we'll give you one.
Wow, the guy who's like mom died. You're like, I don't know.
Vote on this one.
He had this whole story, and then the mom
This guy's
died.
like
It just seemed
Simpsons
like he was
toy.
adding it on a little bit thick, just making sure that, you don't know nowadays. They're just calling for toys. You want to make sure it's legit. How many more do we have left there? I don't want to go over
many.
the...
Yeah.
We do?
Save a pen for me, Clark.
Take a couple more here. Anything that we haven't plugged from Masters of None or NECA? Besides the Simpsons line, what else do you have coming out?
This year we have Godzilla.
Nice.
which is,
All right,
you know,
the 1985 line.
well, we're going all the way. So we did the 2014, and then we have 94 out now. 85 comes out before Christmas, and we're doing more next year. So we're going back and doing like all of them.
How large those go?
Anywhere's from 6
85
inch to
feet.
12 inch.
Life size.
They're pretty big. And then we're doing apes, both modern and classic.
Nice.
Which is a
That's
lot of
also
fun
racist.
because
Terrible.
I have a serious question. How did you get into starting to make these figures? Like, that's a weird thing to just go
It
from
is.
like, I just like to it, and now boom, you make them. Like, what's
Yeah.
that process like getting into that?
well, I kind of never grew up, had that Peter Pan thing going on,
Right,
you know,
right.
without Neverland Ranch.
Right.
And,
Thank God.
I just always collected them and studied them and tried to learn everything I could about them. And then when I got out of college, like I was like, I'm either going to music or going to toys. And music seemed like such a shitty business to go into and such a tough way to make a living. And I was like, well, I've liked toys since I was like 4, and I'm now like, 22 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, toys is a safe bet. And so that was it for me. I knew whether it was going to be designing or marketing or developing, creating, whatever, I wanted to be in toys.
So were you like
that
a
was it.
sculptor or something? Or you just...
Sort of evolved into an art director, and I do a little of the marketing as well. But I oversee all of the sculptors. So obviously, you guys want to come out sometime, certainly can.
That's cool. Where are you guys at in Jersey?
Hillside.
Cool. Everyone listening right now across America. NECA, Hillside, New Jersey.
Does anyone ever tell you that you look like an actor, a famous actor?
No, who?
You look
Iggy Pop.
No. You look like.
He's got a look of death.
You remember the movie PCU?
Yes.
You look like Party Jeremy
I've
Piven.
heard that. I've heard that from. I have heard that. I've heard that from a
That's
couple
not
of
a bad
guys.
thing. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's funny.
It's a great one.
It's a good joke for radio, too.
Look it up on the internet, people.
Hey, we can have some fun in here too as well. Somebody is a big Simpsons fan. Hello.
Hello, may I please have a free toy?
Give him 2. Give him 2.
How are you?
I'm watching the Simpson Marathon as we speak.
Really? What happened to the Gold Rush Marathon you've been tweeting all day?
Well, I'm watching actually football.
Roland wanted to know if he could have the REM figures.
Yeah, you can have
Do you want Michael
of them?
Stipe or the other
set?
3?
I think there's only 2.
Give him the Bill Berry.
All right. Roland, I'll put one aside for you.
There's a pre-aneurysm and post-aneurysm Bill
I
Berry.
got the cancer guy. I don't want a cancer guy. Give me,
I know too much about REM. Sorry.
Or Michael Stipe is good.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, I'll put one aside for you, Roland.
Wow. It's getting uncomfortable. in
My
here.
words, not NECA's. My words.
All right,
good.
we're going to have to get,
Masters9.com.
we went over time, but we're going to have to get out here in a minute. Let me give some quick ones away here. 973, I don't have your name. What's your name?
My name's Cax, C-H-E-S.
Okay.
So we were talking about my favorite quote
All right.
when they were playing golf. And he says, use an open-faced club, a sand wedge.
That is a good line.
Open-faced.
And that shows that you are a Simpsons fan, sir. That's a deep reference.
I would
So,
rather be a toy than my friend.
all right, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to give you a toy out of the graciousness of me.
I appreciate that.
Okay, hold on. So line 7 will get a toy, and do we have a couple more?
Yeah, we got a couple.
All right, I'll do one more, and then maybe we'll do the rest on online or something like that. My kids are huge fans. No. How much of them are? Let's talk to this guy. John in Oklahoma.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey.
Hey, if you're able to watch the Simpson Marathon from start to beginning, how long do you think you'd last before you had to bow out?
I went, since it started on Thursday, with an hour dropout just because I had to drive home, and then watched until 3 in the morning. So between 10 a.m. and 3 in the morning, I missed 1 hour, and then I blacked out.
Wow.
So that's, and then today I've been watching nonstop, so I'm going to be watching it probably until it gets weird in the mid-teens. Then I'll take some bathroom breaks. But I am stocking up on a lot of cereal, and I will just be plowing through this like a soldier.
Hell, just have a piss jug sitting right there. That way you ain't got to get up.
Oh.
He will be the guy on the couch.
Good idea.
Piss right in the bowl that you finished your cereal in.
Oh.
Hand it off. All right, I'll give you a toy, dude.
I don't think your wife would be happy with that.
Oh, well.
It's her problem.
Oh, well. Let's go through the plugs here. Mastersofnone.com, Masters of None on Twitter. Tell them about your podcast for those who are just tuning in or
Yeah, we've
tuning
been
out.
doing it for like 7 years. We do a lot of pop culture talks. 3 guys talking like every other fucking podcast, but we were doing it first.
Yeah. And we do have one other guy that's not here, Art. He's on our show as
shout
well.
out to him. But we get some celebrities every now and again, which is kind of cool. We had Christopher Lloyd on our show.
That's
for
great.
example. It's bizarre.
That's a big get.
We've had Hank Azaria on.
Hank Azaria we also had Sam Simon on.
I reached out to Mr. Simon. I had not heard back.
Wasn't he dying like a while ago?
He is.
He's still alive?
He's still alive.
Good for him.
He is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's still alive.
What time is it?
Amazing thing about Sam Simon, all the money that he gets from The Simpsons and all the other stuff that he's worked on.
He gives like some animal charity or something.
He took all his money and got rid of it. And started. He has a charity. I think it's for seeing eye dogs or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
something like that.
And a couple other charities. Wow. Just dumped millions and millions of dollars into these
You
charities.
gonna make us vote on whether or not he gets a toy too, or
I think he has all of
right.
those. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, he's a cool dude, and I tried to get him on, but I got no response. So I would love to hear the Sam Simon interview over at mastersofnone.com.
I think it's
We
yeah,
had
it's on
Sam
there.
Simon?
Is it Sam Simon? I forget.
so.
We had one of the
It better be Sam Simon.
We had one of the showrunners on. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking whatever.
James Brooks,
7 years
No.
is a long time, right?
Mike
Yeah.
Scully,
No,
Wait,
keep
isn't it
going.
David
talking.
Silverman, Al
Matthew-
Jean.
Al Jean, that's the one.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
far
you go.
cry from Sam Simon.
it is.
Not to belittle Al Jean, but
No, don't belittle Al Jean.
Sam
He's
Simon's
awesome.
one of the guys that created The Simpsons. Al Jean made The Simpsons what it is.
Al Jean's favorite character is Milhouse, by the way, and I love talking to him about Milhouse.
Why not? Milhouse is
I love
great.
Milhouse. Did you talk to what was it? Is it Wheatley? Is his name? The guy that you talked to your interview?
Bill Oakley.
Oakley. Wheatley.
close.
Wheatley from Portal 2.
Yeah.
Will Wheatley.
His favorite character is Superintendent Chalmers,
Super Nintendo Chalmers.
which is fantastic. I love that line. But yeah, mastersofnone.com.
Yeah,
we got
Masters of None on Twitter and
iTunes, Spotify, all the usual
shout out my
places.
fine business too for giving us the beers today. Beer World.
Thank you very much.
BeerWorldStore.com.
This was great. Recap
Hudson
the four
Valley.
beers real quick, and then we'll go
So
to
we
NECA.
tasted Westbrook Mexican Cake. Then we had Three Floyd's Gumball Head. Then we had a Heady Topper from The Alchemist. And then we had a preview of the Omegang new Game of Thrones that comes out, I think, next month. Valar Morghulis. Wasn't she the most downloaded woman on the internet at some point?
Sure. Cindy Margolis.
I don't watch the show. I sat on the Iron Throne and I was eating Dannon Light and Fit yogurt when I got my picture taken.
So
Literally.
there you go.
Way to go.
You look it up online.
Randy,
That's also
Chris,
very downloaded.
and James from NECA Toys. they were kind enough to bring in the Wave 3 before you could buy them anywhere. We've been giving them out. They're amazing pieces. NECAonline.com, NECA_toys on Twitter. The Godzilla line will be coming out. What else do you have anything for the holidays?
Planet of the Apes.
Right.
More Alien 35th anniversary this year, so first time ever there's a Ripley action figure that actually looks like Sigourney Weaver. That's kind of a big deal for Alien fans.
Shots fired.
So that's cool. What else we got? Freddy, Jason, always Halloween staples
I saw
every year.
the Jason figure where he's got the purple outfit and the blue mask. They were
the
working
video
on
game,
it. They were working on it when I took the tour there, and then it's all over online, and people are going nuts for it.
Yeah, it's blown up. That's a Toys R Us exclusive right now.
Does it glow in the dark?
The mask glows in the dark.
Yeah, it looked like
All your friends are dead.
Yes.
Game over.
That's right.
Best ever.
One of the worst video games ever has become one of the hottest Jason figures ever made.
Crazy, right?
I want a T-shirt with
game
that.
was so terrible,
with the end
but-
screen on it. All your friends are dead.
Actually, a T-shirt company I used to work with, we actually had those T-shirts. We used to carry them.
They gave me until I wore it to death, but the Castlevania 2 shirt that I used to wear all the time.
Yeah, I have their Justin
that,
Bailey
what
shirt
a
somewhere,
horrible
too.
night for a curse.
Yep.
Nice.
And the washing machine won.
It ate it after a while.
After so long, give me some more.
I'll work on it.
Hey, make an ET Atari game figure.
We tried, actually. We did. Yeah, 'cause we've been killing with these retro video game figures, and
Just a stick and the head pops up.
and it was going to be like all green, which is how it was in the game.
Awesome.
And Amblin wouldn't let us do it. They want to forget about that game.
I can't believe they wouldn't let you do
All right, well, we got to get out of here. Hopefully, you're cool with that we went late this
I'm sure
time.
they
Hope
are.
nobody gets upset, but we figured I'd give you
Who are
some
you
more
talking
live
to?
content. The audience.
In theory,
This is why Jay's not in radio.
This is the last time we'll be on radio ever, by the way.
That we went long, gave you some live content. Opie and Jim Norton are on vacation till after Labor Day, and Sam is back live on Friday at 3 p.m.
Nice.
We are not back next weekend. We'll be in rerun, but we will be back the following week. So trying to give the audience a little bit extra since we're going on vacation and they're going to have to deal with best ofs.
Bonus.
It's not a bad thing, just trying to do right.
When you're done checking out, I'm going to throw my plug in. Can I throw my plug in?
Sure.
When you're done checking out Mastodon, be sure to check out Big Kev's Geek Stuff. We've been going for 8.5 years.
Oh, fuck you.
Just saying.
Fuck you.
But we're a weekly podcast, toys, comics, games, all that good fun. So check us out online.
That's an old throwback line. Again, we didn't get to Loot Crate, but I had a problem. I also have the subscription Nerd Block.
Right.
And didn't show up. It was supposed to be here. Tracking said today, didn't come. So I wrote to the fine company and said, didn't show up, not doing a review.
So would they send like fun boxes of stuff?
Yes, every month they send cool stuff. Loot Crate, who I'll talk about now because Nerd Block did not send their stuff, sent me a message before the show. They apologized. It'll be here as soon as possible, and they're going to do a make good.
Oh,
So
look at
that's
that.
great. But Loot Crate is one of the subscription services. It's like $20 a month.
Right. And you get a box of stuff, you're not quite sure what it is. Fingers crossed you like it.
Right. And usually they have themes.
Wow.
Last month was villains, and they had a cool mashup shirt of Loki and the Joker together. It was called Jokey, and it looked like the Joker, but he was holding the staff and sitting on the throne and all that. So this week, this month is Heroes, and this is what everybody has been abuzz about since Guardians of the Galaxy came out, the Groot figures.
Yep.
Oh, no.
This is
the
Groot.
dancing Groot?
No, that's still coming.
That's coming.
They just announced that they're going to release that. But this is an exclusive to Loot Crate. It's glow-in-the-dark Groot.
Adorable.
Oh, and he's got a deco on his chest. He's
Right.
like...
So that alone was worth the subscription for this month here. Also, some Ninja Turtle stuff. They have the glasses. But from Kid Robot, Ooze Action Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Yes.
So if you're a collector of Kid Robot or if you're a collector of Ninja Turtles, that's a good get. They gave me, you have some wings for your sneakers like the Flash. I got a Mega Man car freshener. But the other thing in here, which is kind of cool. I left that at home. Oh, what? There's some codes they gave you for some digital downloads, and they're giving you classic video games for your phone and your iPad. I just got Gauntlet,
Nice.
which is awesome.
I get to be the hot chick.
You know, if you're a Mega Man fan...
Be the big elf.
We're actually starting a service called BoxBox, where every month for $20 you get a box full of smaller, fancy boxes. Yep.
Nice.
A box that says boxes. Look out for that. Look out. Mastodon.com.
Can we take a
Patent pending.
Can we take a tour of the box factory?
Of the box factory?
Follow the line. What were we going to say?
If you're a Mega Man fan, I think Kid Robot actually has a Mega Man license now, and they're going to be doing a blind box series, kind of like they did with the non-blind boxed TMNT figures. So if you're a Mega Man fan, those will be out at some point soon.
How have they not done a next-gen like Mega Man reboot yet? What are they
they're
waiting for?
fighting- I
It's been
think
like
they're
20
fighting
years.
over the license.
Really?
Yeah, because remember when it started getting weird and went into Mega Man X?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was showing up on PlayStation, not just Nintendo, and then like everybody wanted their exclusive version of the Mega Man line, and then they got to the point where everyone was just fighting over each other, and at that point I don't know why they should have done something new, especially now when a lot of the new franchises aren't really taking off and everybody's into repurposing the old stuff.
Yep. Video games need to catch up with movies as far as just rehashing old shit.
Yeah.
Like, bring back the old good shit.
Woodman
They do
needs
it
his
in
day in the
movies.
sun.
Yes.
Right? Woodman, right? High five. Give it up, dude, right? Come on. Yeah.
All right, with that, we're going to get out of here for
And with
another
an
edition of It's Erik
uncomfortable
Nagel.
round of high fives. Great.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at eRock Radio. I'll be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. For another edition of It's Erik Nagel. Masters of None, NECA Toys, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And we'll give some of the other ones away on Twitter later.
And in the studio.
Yes. See you later.
SimplySyndicated.com as well as morelikeradio.com.
Yeah, we're on both of those networks,
Both
too.
of those networks. Got to plug them.
And plug my beer stores, too, because I got tasty beer for everybody.
That's right, you do. This is one of the reasons I invited them on.
Yeah,
Not
this is the
because I
only
was friends with
reason.
these guys, but they're really into craft beer.
Yeah.
And they're always, they do a lot of episodes where you're going around to different breweries around the area and broadcasting from there, recording from there, trying all the stuff that they have. They're ordering a bunch of flights, and then that's pretty much the show until Art gets really hammered. And then, then we're like, all right, we're going to have to end this show.
Yeah, we've been sponsored by Blue Point in Long Island for like 7 years now, going on. Since as long as we've been doing our show. But now I'm in the business. I run like 3 beer stores called Beer World. I'm the marketing director, and 3 stores in the Hudson Valley here. And I brought some tasty ass, very hard to get, rare beers for everybody to try today. And
everybody to taste.
Can we try one right now as we're getting into all the Simpsons
funny
stuff
you should
here?
ask, Eric, because you know what I
He was kind
realized
enough
too?
to pour us one.
Ooh.
I actually had a Duff beer, and I forgot to bring it. An actual Duff beer.
That would have been great.
They made it a few times. They made one in Mexico. They made one in like Austria or something. They just totally bootleg.
Well, it's all right. In New York, we don't serve Duff. We serve Fud.
Right. But it was garbage anyway. But it's cool. It's a cool bottle. It looks just like it. So what you have in your cup right there is Mexican Cake from Westbrook Brewing Company out of South Carolina. This is their anniversary beer they do every year. Super duper hard to get. It's an imperial stout. It's about 10% alcohol. And it's got vanilla beans, cinnamon,
10%.
and habanero peppers.
Oh, I got that
I'm now tasting the habanero.
It's very light at the end, and
Yeah, at the
they
end.
actually want you to taste it fresh.
It's so weird because when you're drinking it at first, it tastes like cold coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then as it's going through, it's changing as you're tasting it, and then you swallow it, and then kicks in the habanero.
Yeah, there's a little kick of heat, right at the back there.
Yeah, it's
right
nice.
at the end.
I like
This
it.
is not
It's
bad.
awesome.
What does this go for?
This a bottle? Well, depends on how much the store you're buying it from wants to gouge you.
Average.
Average, maybe $15, $20, but it's They put it out like once a year, and we get like I have 3 huge stores. Our Kingston store is like 15,000 square feet.
We didn't even bother with them because we knew it's like whatever.
Oh,
my show.
It's old hat, 50-year-old show. Who cares? So yeah, that didn't happen, and which was quite upsetting. But it is what it is. Hopefully, somewhere down the line, we'll get to talk to Peter Capaldi.
There you go.
Or Stephen Moffat. Either one would be great.
Sure.
So that's going on, but I had to separate myself for that because now it's Simpsons time.
Okay.
So I'm still wearing my Doctor Who shirt, and
You haven't changed it in 3 days?
I did since last Saturday, the last show we had, I did 8 days of Doctor Who. Since I have like 16 Doctor Who shirts, I wore a different shirt every day. Nobody noticed. But I tweeted about it. Nobody noticed or gave a shit about it. So I'm wearing my last Doctor Who shirt for today, and it's all about Simpsons here. Also I want to thank DJ Who Kid, who's become quite the regular on Sam's show and Opie with Jim Norton. Got me some Simpsons bling.
That's
which I'll
Homer's
tweet a
purple
photo out
pants
in a little bit.
Are really fantastic, I have to say.
I have a platinum and diamond Homer Simpson and a platinum and diamond Bart Simpson on a skateboard.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Are they diamond or are they Dopemond? Hey-o.
Starting the pun. But they're from a company
Answers
called
and then
King
nothing.
Ice.
Okay.
So I want to thank them.
Don't try to put those on, please.
They're very heavy.
I can't stare at you and take you seriously
Why
for the
not?
next hour if you're going to wear those.
You might get held up in an alley by a gun that just has a flag
I'm
that
not
says
going to wear
bang.
them out of the building. I'm not even going to wear them near Shade 45.
You will make it out
Wow,
of the
these
bush.
are heavy.
Homer's backwards.
Yeah.
He was doing something incestuous.
He's doing
with
his
Bart.
crisscross impression.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a bit.
That's
heavy.
incredible.
I'm not wearing that
Yeah.
for the rest of the show. But thank you very much, DJ Who Kid, and the people over at King Ice. So we were talking about the marathon. Have you been watching it at all, or not interested, or?
It's not that I'm not. I said this earlier. We were having a conversation earlier with the guys from Masters of None. Simpsons was a show that I was really, really into when it first came out, and somewhere along the lines, I lost interest in it for no particular reason. Like I missed it 1 week, and then I missed it like 2 weeks, and then I just never got back into it. And I know it's great. People keep telling me how great it is. I just never got back into it.
Now, was it kind of the same spot that kind of everybody did the same thing, like this season 12? Because everybody's.
I think it was before that, to be quite honest.
Really?
With you. Yeah.
Wow. Because that's kind of like the consensus, right?
Right.
Season
Going into
12 kind of goes
into the teen edition of the show is kind of when people started straying. Maybe it was a generational thing because the next generation picked up from that point.
Yeah, and we all had jobs and stuff.
Right. But you couldn't go into homeroom the next day and it's like, did you see all those baseball players playing softball on The Simpsons? After season 12, it seems where a lot of people kind of punched out, except for me. I just watched every Sunday out of habit. And all the people usually just quote seasons 2 through 12. Anytime somebody brings up a quote that's relevant to something, it's always from that handful of seasons there.
Yeah, which is what's going on right now on the marathon is like right in that wheelhouse. I think they're on season 6, and every episode. I mean, 2 TVs in my house have been going on with them on constantly since I've been home.
I actually blacked out Friday night. I went as far as I could, and you can see I was tweeting while I was watching, and then about 3 a.m. it just stops. And at one point I woke up, and it was like 5-something, the TV was still on, so I turned the TV off. But the second I got back up later, it was back on. And then I found out you can stream it on your phone.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask about that. So it's on FX now, right? FX Now? Right. So is everything there, or is it
the marathon?
Releasing it as it goes?
Right, it's the marathon right now, and after this is done, they're going to regularly carry the episodes on FXX.
Yeah.
Plus, every episode will be available to you on the FX Now.
That's awesome.
Which is their streaming service.
Because I was going to cancel my cable. I'm totally cutting the cord. But I told my wife, I was like, I'm really waiting until the Simpsons marathon is over, and then I'm canceling cable. It's been like 3 months. I've been talking about this, and
I'll be curious to see if you need the cable subscription in order to get the online service, like HBO Go.
I already stole my parents' account.
If you're not paying for the service, you can't really use HBO. And once again, we are here. It is me. It is Erik Nagel, 866-969-1969. It's also the name of the program, cleverly titled. And joining me once again, Matt from Big Kev's Geek Stuff. OG Geek Stuff OG. I never remember your Twitter handle.
Just Geek Stuff OG on Twitter is how you can go with that.
And also joining us today, it's a big show.
It is a big show.
A lot of Simpsons shit to cram down your gullet today.
Okay, fair enough.
And then we won't talk about it ever again.
All right.
Or at least until season 26 starts.
There you go, fair enough.
Which is a month and a half away. About.
You're the Simpsons guy, I'm not.
Yeah, it's the big 1 hour premiere with Family Guy and The Simpsons, the crossover.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Joining us also, the Masters of None. Who are they? I don't know, but I'll tell you right now. How would I know? I know. It's a podcast. I'm trying to get their slogan right. It's a comedy podcast that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Why
don't I?
Your mic's not on.
There you are.
Okay, there you go. Hi.
Hi. Jay and Mike from Masters of None. Mastersofnone.com?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Masters of None.
Jay and I have a long history of knowing each other. We used to work at some stations on Long Island.
Okay.
WLIR, Party 105. Jay had a show called One Step Beyond, which was ska, punk, indie rock, all those things. And I used to work for him on that show. And
now
I'm
on your show.
I know. How does that work?
My goddamn mind.
Full circle.
It really is.
And Mike, do we want to explain what you used to do here?
Yeah,
or no?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I used to intern here, so this is all like this is all incestual. So you used to work for him, I used to work for Eric. And now I work for myself, which is great.
And I'm just
work
the
for
other guy.
Jay, too.
Yeah. And now, kind of, yeah.
It all just comes full circle.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let me make sure I got the plugs because there's a lot to do today. Mastersofnone.com. What's the Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff?
At Masters of None, Masters of None.
And
everywhere.
You can find their podcast on iTunes. Are you on Spotify? You're on all the regular places?
Yes.
Wherever.
Also,
podcasts are sold.
Yeah. Also, got a plug.
And we got like 6 bottles, so that's how hard to get it is.
That's amazing.
And that's it. You won't see it again until next year.
Rarities.
But yeah, it's pretty damn tasty.
So we'll be trying different craft beers throughout the show here.
I got 3 more good ones.
A little bit later in the program, we're going to talk to Bill Oakley, one of the writers from The Simpsons. He was there during the Golden Age, seasons 3 through 9. And we'll also talk to the guys from NECA Toys, who also handled the Simpsons toy line. And there's a third wave coming That's really exciting. There's a couple of figures in there I'm really excited about. There's one set of figures I'm questioning as to why, but we'll get into that with the guys at NECA in a little bit. But if you've seen the first two waves, they've been amazing. Hugh Hefner, Tom Hanks is in the line, which is a weird choice, but I was really happy to see that.
Sure.
Kid Rock is in there, Britney Spears, Coach Homer, a bunch of different
Mark Hamill,
variants.
isn't he?
Mark Hamill's in one of them.
Right, yeah.
Right. There's a lot of great stuff. NECA Toys. It's NECAonline.com to check that out. So we'll get to them in a little bit. FXX is doing the Simpsons Marathon. I have been addicted since Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Right.
It started. I had it on in the office, and even though the Opie with Jim Norton show was live, I was still already logging in trying to see what would, when this was starting and what they were doing.
Can I just say, I am most impressed, actually, that you are here tonight because the Simpsons Marathon is going on. And on top of that, I believe Doctor Who started 5 minutes ago, and you're missing both to be here.
I did not want to bring that up, but thank you. Or thank you, however you want to pronounce it. Yes, I've been promoting for a while that season 8 of Doctor Who starts tonight.
Yes.
Actually, at
5 minutes ago.
8:15 p.m.
Oh, it's right. The pre-show is right.
So at 8:15 p.m. Throughout the United States, I guess it airs on BBC America. I couldn't get interviews. I was supposed to have interviews with Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman, and Stephen Moffat. But at the last minute, BBC changed their mind, and it didn't happen. So
Same
I
thing
got
with us with our podcast. I couldn't believe it. They canceled like that.
I know. What the hell?
Bastard jerks.
BBC is just making enemies everywhere.